My first ministry out of college was in Danville, Illinois, and I went there, and soon after I was there, a couple began attending the church named Matt and Kenna Osborne. I got to know Matt and Kenna a little bit, and in March of 1996, baptized Matt. About a year or two after that, we were looking for a children's minister at the church, and hired Kenna to be in that role. It's a role that she's still in today. Well, Matt and Kenna had little twin boys running around named Cole and Corey, and they were blonde-headed and more than a little mischievous, and at the church all the time, more than most of the staff. But they were there. They had this one tradition. Every Sunday night after church, they would go into the nursery, and they would get this. It was a cradle that a doll would go into. They'd take this cradle and set it up on its side, and it would be their pulpit. Then they would go out into the hallway as people were leaving church and corral into the nursery any of the adults who were walking by and usher them in for another church service. Cole and Corey would lead a couple of songs, always including Zacchaeus, the wee little man, and they would preach from some Bible story from behind this little cradle turned up on its side, and then always take up an offering at the end, like any good minister would do. Several years later now, Corey is ministering with a Christian camp in New Mexico, and Cole is finishing up his preaching degree here at Johnson. And so I'm excited to introduce him for his senior sermon this morning. And if he makes us sing Zacchaeus, the wee little man, or if he takes up an offering, just know he's keeping a long-held tradition.
All right, I'm definitely not Cole, but when Cole asked me to introduce him, I thought, well, I need to say something that's unique about Cole. And this was about a week ago, and for the first 6 days, all I could think of were jokes about his mustache, which he will graciously suffer through for 18 minutes and 13 seconds. But what is really unique about Cole is his call to preaching. Legend has it, he's been preaching since he was 3 years old, which is just crazy to think about. I've known Cole for 3 years, not quite 2 decades, but this call to preaching is an amazing thing. Many of us come to college, Christian or not, and we want to be teachers, and then we change our minds. We want to be counselors. No, we want to be teachers that counsel children in the mission field. But I think I'm going to marry a church planner so I can also preach on Sundays and do youth ministry at night. We're indecisive. We can't decide how we're going to build the kingdom. But Cole, what's unique about Cole is he was called at an early age, and he has always held to that call. He's passionate about preaching, and he's good at it. And he will do it for the rest of his life. And this right here is a huge milestone for him. And I'm excited to pray for him and get him started on this first step in a long preaching career.